Okay, it's Monday, November 28th. This is a pre-opening SPY report. This is about an hour to go before trading, and we're going to be gapping down a little bit this morning here between the pre-market price action is between these blue lines. If you look at the so far the pre-market action, it kind of moved lower over the weekend, and now we're kind of starting to grind a little higher here before the open. So as always, opening price action relative to these blue lines will tell the story in a big way in terms of where price may be heading. If you look at the 15-minute chart spread out, we're in kind of an uptrend here that's projected possibly higher, and all this could be is just broadening action to take out some of these stops down here, and then we can start higher in the morning. But what we're going to have to see is green price action that moves above this blue line. And in this case, I'm kind of judging almost that this day, half day on Friday, is almost like a non-day of trading. And we're really almost, if you look at the daily chart, this, you'd say, well, we're below the halfway point of the prior day. We're going to stay biased to the downside all day. But to me, it's almost as if this was the last day of trading. This is just a little consolidation in here. So if we open up above this blue line with green bars and head higher, it's almost like we're above the midpoint of that day and above this midpoint of this range in here, and then kind of heading higher to take out those highs. So we'll see if that happens, but it is a pretty big down opening, so I'm not opposed to going short either. And what this means is if we open up kind of down here, and this price action is valid, then all it is kind of the two down day that takes out its first stop down here. In other words, these 2 days would be a compound broadening lower bar of this bar, and it's possible that we don't continue lower because right now we're right at the midpoint of the prior week if we look at the pre-market range. So as long as we hold that area, I'm comfortable, saying we're still looking to head higher in line with the monthly chart that still has 3 days to go and might be reaching our target up here at the yellow line. So, but as I discussed on the weekend video, it's possible that we're failing to reach our target with only 3 days to go, and I'm not opposed to going short at all. Let's go back to the 15-minute chart. If we break down with a red bar or some kind of failure to move higher and then break below this pre-market range, all of a sudden we have we might be continuing lower here to start with targets down here, here, and here. In other words, on the weekly chart, we could be starting below the halfway point of that prior week and moving lower towards these two targets down here. And this eventually, if we hit the purple line, that turns the monthly chart, this monthly chart red, in terms of how the month is going to end. And at that point, we have to see going into December, whether we start red or green, and, where are we more likely to be testing highs or lows. But we'll get into that, at the end of the month. So anyway, today it's an interesting gap down. So I'm not opposed to going short at all and seeing if we do start kind of a move down here to take out the weekly lows and head, the weekly lows somewhere in here and head much lower towards our monthly target here to turn the month red. But I also can visualize where this is just a kind of, if you look at this, as we come up, you do broaden out a little, making slight lower lows and then higher. So it's possible we're just kind of consolidate, make a little lower low here to take out some stops and then heading higher. So therefore, it's just a matter of, without being able to predict it, where does that opening price action go relative to breaking out of one of these two lines to the upside or downside. But just know the context that if we head up, then that is more in line with our monthly chart trying to reach upper targets. And if we head down and hold below this area, then that could be the start of that weekly reversal that I've kind of always maintained is what I'm looking for here to turn. We've been going up for a whole bunch of weeks now. So to me, to turn down, we're going to have to get that weekly chart turning down. And one way to do it would be start below the midpoint of the prior week and head lower and take out and get a 2 down week going in here. So we'll see if that happens. But if not, we're still, slightly biased to the upside, even though we have a little bit of exhaustion risk here in these last 4 days. And I don't love that we're gapping down this much and seem to be holding down here. Doesn't really fare well that, we're going to have a strong opening to the upside, but you never know. So let's just see where price action leads us either up or down today.